Hello, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. How y'all doing? This is the Views Express for the 5th of October 2012. It's amazing to me that stuff is happening in the way that it is. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Follow me, if you will. Thank you. Yes, studies find that drinking more than 3 cups of coffee a day will give you glaucoma and give you poor eyesight. Well, you know, studies find that having sex will get somebody pregnant. I mean, you know, come on. Seriously. It's Friday. You know what that means? It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Yes, we do. It is Open Forum Friday. So jump in the chat room. Tell me what you want to talk about. Ask me some questions. That'll be cool. Also, we got a lot of stuff on Liberty and Freedom Network that I want to get through. And it's brought up in the news again that RFID chips have been brought up again in this regard. You go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, click on the link that says RFID chip procedure, Obamacare 2014. It brings up a video of Fox News and Megyn Kelly over there talking about the RFID chips. And I got to tell you, it's not good. There have been, what was it in Texas? A school in Texas was thinking about RFID chips and the badges of the students. There's another school where when you get the lunch, you got to put your hand on this thing, like the thing in, what was it? Men in Black, when he went up and put his hands on that thing and it burned off his, thing. It's not that bad, but it's biometrics. You put your hand on this thing and they know who you are and, stuff like that. It's crazy, man. It is freaking crazy. We're going to go to break here real soon, about a minute and a half, and I'll come back. I'll hit that one up, and we'll talk about some other things such as liveleak.com, Obama. We don't believe anyone is entitled to success in this country. They may have gotten that a little wrong. Maybe cut him off. Got to look at it full context. There's another video on there. CIA whistleblower exposes everything. Extreme prejudice. There's another one from RTR.org. Military employed for crowd control at college football game this Saturday, tomorrow. And also from sovereignman.com. Why is the U.S. government planning for mass fatalities? Look at that one. There's another one from the Angel Clark show. It's a photo that she put up. Basically, we want you to rely on government handouts taken by threat or force from others, so you, in the end, cannot live without us. And my little caption on there is, student loans are a fraud. This is what will happen when you graduate. Student loans are a fraud, period. They know it. They know that you cannot pay the money back, and they put you in such financial straits that you have no other way. And they will come after you, by the way. I know someone on Social Security disability that is having almost $200 taken out of their check. So they will come after you. This is why we need to completely collapse all student loans. We need to collapse the bank dealing with that. We need to collapse the William D. Ford Foundation. We need to restructure the Department of Education to our way of thinking, which is, no, we don't want schools or community colleges or universities to charge $30,000 or more per semester. That's ridiculous. You're going to go by what we make, not by what you think your education to us is worth. We want to change this. Well, how are teachers going to get paid? How are schools going to get paid? That should be the county and state's responsibility, not the students. And don't loan out money that they know that you know they can't pay back. That's stupid. Hello? Mortgage fraud. Can you figure it? Student loan fraud. Big bubble exploding. Okay. So when I get back, little over the time for the break, but that's okay because I'm not beholden to any network except my own. So this is the Views Expressed for the 5th of October 2012. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, broadcasting live on the Liberty and Freedom Network on Spreaker.com. Be back right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the king of all dorks. Go listen to the Chris Top program right here on Spreaker.com. Cameras on every corner, TSA checkpoints on major highways, militarized law enforcement in every major city. This is not the United States of America we grew up in. Come get the facts about what exactly is going on. The Views Expressed, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on Spreaker Web Radio. For more information, go to www.spreaker.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Clark.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
You saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever.
Sussex, CountyAngel.com. Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
You are listening to the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. We are broadcasting live from FEMA Region 9, biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Yeah, lots of things going on, lots of things happening, lots of things moving quicker than we expected, but sooner than we wanted to. Okay. There's a lot of things going on that we all need to pay attention to. Okay? Just a bunch of things. Now, first off, it's Open Forum Friday, so jump in the chat room and tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it. I want to give you some show notes, tell you exactly what's coming down the line. Tonight, if you're expecting to come to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, we will not be here tonight due to the fact that we have prior engagement. Actually, we're going to go out and do some paranormal investigation. Yes, our group, Western Nevada Paranormal, is going to assist Empathic Paranormal on an investigation at a location nearby. And I will, on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, we will put up some of the stuff that we find and talk about it. Next Friday, Open Forum Friday, next Friday, the October 12th, Mr. Peter Kling will be my guest. He is like the Einstein of biblical prophecy and what's going on around the world. He's a very educated man as far as, politics and things of that nature. A week after that, for a half hour, for 30 minutes of this show, we will have none other than, and you heard the promo there on the break, Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern on radiofreedom.us. We will have her on. And on October 26th, on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, we will have Marie D. Jones. She is an author, and we will get her on, and we will talk about a lot of things. Now, onward and upward to this particular show. I may only go for an hour, not sure, because I don't have a whole lot up on the Liberty and Freedom Network site, the Liberty and Freedom Network page on Facebook, but just a lot of pictures. There's a picture there from deliberatereceiving.com. Says, we've been trained by the media, TV shows and movies, to believe that people will regress into a violent, irrational, and primal state if given half the chance. But in times of true crisis, history has shown that the great majority of people will support each other, even to their own detriment. We have allowed them to convince us to be afraid of each other, so that we'll let the powers that be take away our freedom in order to protect us from ourselves. But they forgot about the tenacity of the human spirit. People are waking up, throwing off their shackles and saying, peacefully yet firmly, and without backing down, no more. That's one of the pictures up there. Also, I want to talk about this unemployment rate number. What was it? 7 point? I don't care, because it's all cooked. The books are cooked. Hello? Discouraged workers. Hello? People falling off the dole, trying to find something. And don't give me... There was a good point earlier, and I was listening to a talk show on a major network, and I was listening to it online, and I have to admit that the person was correct in saying that here a person called into the show, and there's these little stores, these you got these empty, the economy's bad, you got these empty storefronts, and so companies like the Halloween store or somebody, they go in there, they open it up for a couple of months and sell, and boom, and then they got to hire people, of course, to be there. So they're looking at those numbers. Well, those people are going to be laid off in November. They're not going to work enough hours to get unemployment. So basically, well, according to the Employment Development Department, they're not going to get enough hours to get unemployment. So what do? They're discouraged. Not in terms of spirit or psychology, but they're going to be unemployed and they're not going to be able to find a job. Now, there are things which we have come to understand. Okay? Get some water here, hang on. There are some things that we've come to understand, and what we have come to understand is that there are people out there saying, well, you're unemployed, you got bills to pay, just take any job you want. Well, I was working here in Reno at one point and found myself going to Circus Reno. Never, ever, 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 ever work in a casino. They are the most dictatorial, fascist people around. Okay, never work in a casino. Okay, just a little side note. But I was working there, and oddly enough, the person that hired me looked at my application, and I had a resume and a whole 9 yards. And she said, do you know, I got to say this. I said, go ahead. And she's like, you know you're overqualified for this job, right? And I go, yeah. And she goes, why do you want to work here? And I said, I got to pay the rent. So when somebody says, oh, just take any job, whatever, you need to work, right? You need to do something, right? Well, okay, if you're an engineer or a geologist or a college professor or something of that, nature, and you're very well educated, chances are you are not wanting to just take any job. You're wanting to get the job that is in your field of experience. Am I right? Well, just taking any job is pretty much lowering yourself down to someone else's level. And even though you may know how to do that job, you got to start at the bottom. I know people where I used to work at Circus Reno on the Midway there, here in Reno, Nevada, that had been there for 12 years that still hadn't moved to another position. Okay? 12, 15 years. I'm like, why are you still here? Why can't you find anything better? Oh, well, I just need a job. This is okay. Sell out. Why do you take a job to begin with? Well, because you got bills to pay and you gotta work. And that's okay. I'll shake your hand for that. But if you're experienced at a certain level, you should expect nothing less than to get a position either close or at that level of experience that you have. I have middle management experience. I have experience at running certain areas. I run, and do this show, and I spent time in theater, and I know how to organize people and get things done and delegate the work. I know how to do that. I've done it. And yes, I started out at the bottom. But I know how to do those things. Probably you do too. So why would you even go for anything less than what you know? Well, primarily because the jobs are not there, because the people who know those things are still in those jobs. So here's an observation. And I don't know, I could be wrong in this. Email me, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. I don't know why someone with that experience, my experience, whatever type of experience, and you know how to get things done, and you know how to round things up and take things and make it work. I don't know why you would work for anything less than what you know you're worth. And the second question is why aren't you opening your own business? Well, I'm afraid of taxes. Well, okay, then don't. Then work at your measly little minimum wage job and not try to advance yourself. Start out, I don't know, just stay where you are. Stay where you are. Well, you get paid what? What do you get paid? $8.50 an hour? Yeah, you don't want to get ahead in life? Okay, don't worry about it. Stay where you're at. But if you know that you have the experience to get things together and do all that and make it happen, why aren't you? Okay, why aren't you? And I know some circumstances, I mean, people get laid off, companies close down, you're unemployed, your wife's working, your husband's working, they're the only breadwinners in the house. Yeah, I understand that. Been there, done that, I'm there now. But why don't you put both of your heads together and collectively understand that you guys need to make something else and do something else to get a better income? This is something Math 101, Budget 101. We can't live the way we used to because somebody got laid off in the family and we don't have the money. Well, figure out a way to go out and do it yourself. Instead of working for $8.50 an hour at a 7-Eleven somewhere. You know what I mean? And I understand, and I've heard stories where a husband or a wife get laid off from their really good paying job and they got a mortgage and they were, doing that and all of a sudden one of them gets laid off and now it's hard for them to pay the mortgage. And then I've heard stories where similar to that, and then, where the parents are there, blah, 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 and then their kids move home because either the daughter, got a divorce or the son, left his wife or whatever, whatever it may have been. So everybody's got hard times. Nobody's worse than anybody else. It happens. It happens. But if you're at that level where you were in a business or you were working for somebody, you were middle management, you did what you did and you were making good money, why couldn't you go out and do that on your own? I know business people from years ago when I was living in California, and of course, California's in the hole now. They're a socialistic state, and Nevada's heading the same way. And they've been that way for a while now, but I know people in California businessmen, insurance salespeople, this kind of thing, and contractors, and, that working for other people. Well, their companies downsize, they lose their job. I've seen insurance salesmen lose their jobs, turn around within 6 months, create their own company, bang, make their money back. Why? Because they're that type of person. A lot of people say, well, it's tough. How can anybody on Social Security disability do that? Well, I've seen people do that. I've seen people who got laid off from their job or got workman's comp or Social Security disability, and within 6 months to a year decided, I'm not going to live on the system anymore, because obviously the system, the New World Order, the North American Union want you to live off of they want you to suck off their teat. They don't want you to be independent of them, because they know that more people who are independent of them have more power to put them away, not only collapse their system of tyrannical government, but put them away in jail and in prison. They know this. So this is why you need to get up and do what you have to do to take care of your family, friends, neighborhoods, counties, cities, whatever. And you need to do it on your own. You might be the only one standing for what you believe, but I can say that if people start seeing changes come about because of what you do, they're going to get behind you. Okay? I've seen I've seen people working for other companies come together and say, we like to do this. Mom likes to bake cakes or something like that. Cakes, cupcakes, this kind of thing, whatever. Why don't we make that a business? The whole family gets involved. I've seen this happen. The whole family gets involved, and the woman makes more money than she could ever imagine, than she ever made before working for someone else. Now, I know, the economy sucks right now, so a lot of people can't buy a whole lot of stuff or start their own business. This is true. But there are programs out there to help people who are on Social Security disability or some unemployment or whatever to be able to create your own business. It's called business incubators. Go around in your city or call your city licensing department or whoever. That might be under the finance department too. But call them and ask them, do you have I would like to start my own business. Do you guys have a business incubator in your, in the city somewhere? Stockton, California has one, or had when I was living there. And they would walk you through how to create a business plan, what to do, who to call, that kind of thing. And it's really, really cool. So, look into a lot of alternatives. You don't have to work at something, less than what you're worth. You can pick up the pieces and move forward. Create something for yourself. I've seen people, I'll give you a prime example. I've interviewed him before, and that's Spencer Hughes, spencerhughes.net. He's also got Spencer Hughes Photography. He works for a major news organization here in the United States. But he likes to do other things. So he took that and decided, I'm going to take my hobby and try to make a business out of it. And he has his reasons for doing so. And from what I understand, he's doing quite well. So he's also a paranormal investigator. So he goes around to a lot of places and with a lot of people and does that, as I do. Western Nevada Paranormal, if you want to get a hold of us, it is paranormalexplorer@usa.com. Paranormalexplorer@usa.com. We don't try to debunk or prove anything. We don't, because we just don't do that. There's other groups out there that do that. We don't. We just try to figure out what's going on. That's all we do. We're going to, we tell you what's going on. If you tell us, there's been scratching in the wall and I can't tell what it is and it doesn't happen every day, we're going to go look for mice holes in the wall. If you got a basement, we're going to look down there. If you got an attic, we'll look up there. We want to figure out what's going on in your home, and we're going to tell you about it. Okay? So that's what Western Nevada Paranormal does. So also I have Eastland Entertainment, which also produces Liberty and Freedom Network, The Views Expressed Live. You want to get a hold of us there, you can get a hold of us at Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. If you want to get a hold of us here at Liberty and Freedom Network, you can do that too. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Be more than happy to read what you got. Send us your information. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. This is The Views Expressed on Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live from Reno, Nevada, biggest little city in the world, right here also on Spreaker.com. Are you an actor looking for a place to promote your work? Do you do voiceover work and want others to hear what you do? Go to Eastland Entertainment and get your work seen and heard. Eastland Entertainment is your one-stop shop in the Reno, Nevada area for all of your entertainment needs. Eastland Entertainment will promote your work for you. Eastland Entertainment also produces original short films and radio plays through Eastland Radio Films. For more information, contact them at Eastland Entertainment at USA.com or go to the Eastland Radio Films website at eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms. That's eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms. Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That VK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Do you wear your sunglasses at night? Well, maybe you do some other crazy things too. Why not add The Sandy Fox Show to your list? You can find me on Spreaker.com, Icecast.org, and TuneIn.com. Fox out.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Hello, this is The Views Expressed. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Yes, I am a reverend. Yes, I do marry, bury, and baptize people. Well, hopefully not in that order. But if you want to know more and you have questions, please email me at ulcrev62, ulcrev62 at usa.com. Please do. If you got questions about Universal Life Church, that's Universal Life Church, World Headquarters, International Headquarters, actually, in Modesto, California, you can go to their website at ulchq.com, email them through there, and ask them anything you like, and they will answer any question you have. That's ulchq.com. Thank you very much for joining me today on this show. Little show note, just to give you a heads up. I'll have Peter Kling on the show next week, peterkling.com. Well, I don't know what direction we're going to go, but we're going to go there, wherever it may be. Talk about finances, talk about biblical prophecy, talk about, you name it, the New World Order, and we'll talk about the multiverse, I'm sure. We're going to go in all sorts of directions, okay? So I don't really have a whole lot of questions for him. And, of course, you just heard a promo there for the one and only, the ever vivacious, more beautiful and brainy person, I think, over on the East Coast, and that would be Angel Clark of the Angel Clark Show. You can hear her show Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern on RadioFreedom.us. She will be my guest October 19th for 30 minutes of the show. And if you want to be a guest on the show, please email us here at Liberty and Freedom Network. Just email us at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Let us know. We would love to hear from you. Also, on the 26th of October, 5 days before Halloween, we will have the one and only Marie D. Jones. She's an author of some very popular books. We will talk about her latest book, which I don't have the title of right now. Go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com and type in Marie D. Jones, and you will find her book there as well, or on her website, which I don't have, but I will have more information before then, so I shall share it with you before she gets here. That is who's coming up. Again, if you want to be a guest on the show, on The Views Expressed, or one of the other shows I co-host, which is the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Not on tonight, by the way, but usually on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. We talk about everything under the sun. You name it, we talk about it. You put it in the chat room there at Spreaker, we'll talk about it. Hey, it's okay. My other show I host with another lovely person, Reverend Laura Clemens, The Unnamed Show. That's what the name of the show is, The Unnamed Show. We talk about everything under the sun. We talk about anything. She just doesn't want to talk about politics. So we usually take all questions in the chat room. I know that from the past, since I've been broadcasting on Spreaker, they've said that they're going to get ways for people to Skype into the shows, and stuff like that. They haven't done it yet. They said they were going to remodel their whole DJ console. I'm sure they're getting all the bugs worked out before they just slap it on us. So, Spreaker, hello, dudes over here in Nevada. How you doing? Let's get that going, because I really want to be able to take calls for shows. Okay. So anyway, back to the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network for the 5th of October, 2012. If you are listening live, in the past, since this morning, after midnight, I've gotten over 35 people following the Views Expressed. I don't get that many people in the chat room, maybe one or two. Yo, folks, come to the show if you can. Monday through Friday, live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Drop into the chat room and say hi. I would love to hear from you. If you want to email us, you can. I say us, it's only me here right now. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Also, I never get to this every time I talk about the Liberty and Freedom Network. I have another page at Facebook you can go check out. Free America Network. Go check that one out. Free America Network over there on Facebook. Check that out. I keep forgetting to promote that page. So anyway, hey, we're going to take an obligatory Spreaker break here just for 30 seconds here in a little bit. But I want to remind you that you're all welcome to email me here at the show. My personal email is freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. This is The Views Expressed. I'll be right back. Yes. Thank you for joining me on The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. I am glad you are here. Yes, we got a lot to cover. Go over to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check out what is there. There's pictures there. There's articles there. If you have an article you want to share, you can do that. Put it on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, or email it to me at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Liberty and Freedom Network @usa.com. This is a long segment. Let's get to it. Let's have fun today. It's Friday. You know what that means, don't you? It's freaking Friday, right? It's Open Forum Friday. If you happen to be listening to this on live, drop your name into the chat room. Let me know what you want to talk about, because how am I supposed to know if you're here? Okay, seriously. But remember, it is Friday. It is it is Friday, literally.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
Okay, now that I have that song stuck in your head, it's Friday. So anyway, pop in the chat room, say hi, tell me what you want to talk about. Let's cruise on over to the Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check things out. Yes, you will see a lot of pictures, a lot of video. From Politico.com. Politico.com. Representative Alan West has said that job numbers were cooked. Duh. Let's go read that one. Scroll on down, you'll see West. Job numbers were cooked. Go to Politico.com and you will see Sun Ming Kim, who wrote this. West, job numbers were cooked. Count Representative Alan West among those who think Friday's job numbers were cooked. The controversial Florida Republican called the latest jobs report, quote, confusing to say the least, unquote, and said he agreed that with accusations by former GE CEO Jack Welch that President Barack Obama's administration may have engineered the numbers to aid his reelection. Yes, I have there is a chart on Liberty and Freedom Network right there. As you're scrolling down, well, now I can't find it. It's there. It's on there. Jeez. No, it's not, really. I apologize. I'm wrong. See? When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. No, there is a chart similar to the one I was looking for. And it's 8% U3 unemployment. Yeah, right. Sure. They only count very little. Oh, look, the unemployment numbers are going down. Yeah, they're not taking into consideration the discouraged workers or the people that can't find work and have fallen off the dole, and they're not even looking at the seniors that are going back to work because their Social Security disability is not helping, and they're not looking at welfare recipients who want to get into the job market to get off of welfare. They're not looking at that. And then they say the real numbers are about 11%. No, it's not. It's 25% here in Nevada. 24 point something percent. Almost 25% here in Nevada. It's almost 25% in Austin, Texas. It's that way all over. The numbers are cooked, okay? They're wrong. Jack Welch said, excuse me, I was wrong again. Let me continue here. Let me start over. I get on a tear and I forget where I went. The controversial Florida Republican called the latest jobs report confusing, to say the least, and said he agreed with accusations by former GE CEO Jack Welch that President Barack Obama's administration may have engineered the numbers to aid his reelection bid. Quote, I agree, this is what Representative Alan West says. Quote, I agree with former GE CEO Jack Welch. Chicago-style politics is at work here, West wrote on his Facebook page Friday. Quote, somehow, by manipulation of data, we are all of a sudden below 8% unemployment, a month from the presidential election. This is Orwellian, to say the least, and representative of Saul Alinsky's tactics from the book Rules for Radicals, a must-read for all who want to know how the left strategize. Welch, that's unquote, Welch wrote on Twitter earlier Friday morning that the jobs figures were unbelievable and that these Chicago guys will do anything, a reference to Obama's re-election campaign. Friday's jobs report showed an unemployment rate of 7.8% and 114,000 jobs added in September, marking the lowest unemployment rate since Obama was sworn into office in January of 2009. Labor Secretary Hilda Solis, whose agency releases the jobs figures every month, responded that charges of conspiracy theory are ludicrous. Quote, I'm insulted when I hear that because we have a very professional civil service, unquote, she said on CNBC, obviously. Quote, I have the highest regard for our professionals that do the calculations at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They are trained economists, unquote. Yeah, but they're paid off. There's a video associated with that, by the way. If you want to go and check that out on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Yeah. The numbers are cooked. In other words, he's lying through his damn teeth, period. Obama is. He's just lying. He's just lying. Okay? Just lying. Now, there are people, and I know this for a fact, there are people who are unemployed, and I know unemployed people, and they're telling me that, again, like I said before the break, that they are at a certain level of experience, and that's what they need to support their families and themselves. But on this defeatist attitude that people have, that say, well, you got to get any job. Any job will just get anything right now. You just need to work. Yeah, really. This is what happens. This is what happens when people who are very well qualified to do a job, this is how they are treated by the general public. Now, I know the vast number of people in this city, and Reno, Nevada has over 300,000 people in it. I know a vast majority of the people here are pissed off to no end. Okay? Because of the fact that we live in a police state. I say that, and I use that term loosely, because it's not as bad as California or New York. And I'll tell you why. Because overall, there are 25%, the rate of unemployment is somewhere close to 25%. We have people who start their businesses, but taxes are low here to start the businesses. The problem is a year down the line, when we either get Obama reappointed or Romney elected, they're essentially and inevitably going to go up. Okay? Does that stop or discourage somebody from starting their own business? No, not at all. Okay, not at all. I mean, look at the worst case scenario in times past in the United States. Taxes were low, businesses got started, new administrations came in, taxes went up, businesses kind of struggled a little bit, but they still kept their head above water, certain businesses. But look within the last 4 years. Taxes were cut here and there and here and raised here and whatever it was. We have, and I can take video of it and put it up on my YouTube page, and I can show you storefront after storefront in all these business plazas, and I can go out into the industrial section and show you buildings that are completely empty because there's no businesses in them. There's no businesses in them. Why? Many factors are involved. Many. And I'm sure that you can send me those pictures and videos as well. If you have them, please do. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. So the job numbers are cooked. The president is lying through his teeth. And to be honest with you, I was very much impressed with Mitt Romney in the debate on Wednesday. But here's the thing. Both candidates, President Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney, are bought off by the same people. By Big Agra, by Big Pharma, by Monsanto, you name it, they're bought off by the same people. There's one puppet master controlling both of them. So who are you going to vote for? This leads me back into, why would you start your own business in an economic environment the way it is right now? Because you don't want to show defeat. You don't want to put yourself in a position to where you have to bow down and kiss the feet of the controllers that tell you what to do, when to do it, why to do it, and how to do it. You, as a free individual, need to understand that you're a sovereign citizen and you need to take responsibility for yourself and go out there and do what you must do to take care of your family. That does not mean take whatever job that comes up. That means that you have the experience to do something much better or in the same line as the experience that you have, or much better than what you can do, and make a living for yourself. Now, I'm going to say this. People might get pissed off, and frankly, you can email me at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Here is the biggest lie that the president will ever give you. That he's going to create jobs. Excuse me, isn't that what communist countries do? That you have to work for the state? Did you know that the employment rate went up in 2009, 2010 for guess what? Government workers. Now they're being laid off. Why? Government can't handle it. People aren't paying it. Did you know that I think it's a little under half of the American people are paying taxes? The other half, they're off to dole. They're unemployed. They're on some sort of government assistance or housing or whatever it is because they can't afford anything. So, if we're the greatest nation in the world, why isn't everyone working? Because we have a corrupt government. We have this place called District of Columbia, which is corrupt from the inside out. And if you look at it and dig deep into its existence today, you will see that it is collapsing under its own corruption from the inside. And at some point it will implode. And we see the beginnings of that now. Such as Mayor Nanny Bloomberg over there, Michael Bloomberg in New York City, telling people that they can't, have a 32-ounce soda. Screw you, Mr. Bloomberg. I want my 32-ounce soda if I want it. And you parents should be pissed off too. Your kids having RFID chips in their IDs or putting their hand on a biometric machine for their lunches. You parents need to take responsibility and say, no, you go to the administration building downtown in your city and you tell the superintendent you're going to take that crap out of the school my child goes to, or I will sue the school district and I will name names. You need to start threatening every one of them with lawsuits. Don't go out and tear up cars or break windows or anything like that. It's just stupid. You can even do it yourself. Go to your local court and say, how can I file a lawsuit by myself? Go to the clerk. The clerk has the answer. They're more than willing to help you out. They'll give you the information. If you don't have a lawyer, you can do it yourself. That way you don't have to pay a lawyer. I'm just trying to save you some money there. A little public service announcement. But you need to do something. You have council meetings in your city council meetings that are open to the public. You go and vent your frustration. You get many people on your side to go and vent their frustration. You get these things out of the schools. By the way, LA or one of the cities down there, I think it was Los Angeles, are now taking, many cities across the United States are taking out the red light cameras. Why? Because people complained. Well, they wouldn't have gone out if people didn't complain. And if you don't want the RFID chip on your kid's ID at school, or if you don't want them to put their hand on a biometric machine to get their lunch, you need to start complaining. And you need to put this out in the mainstream news. By the way, did you know that you as a citizen can call up your local news agency, television or newspaper, and ask to be interviewed? Did you know that? You didn't know that? Yeah, I found that out by accident. But you can do that. You need to get the word out that we don't live in a police state, that we are free and sovereign people, that we live we live in the United States of America, where we are free to express ourselves the way we want. Now, how can we do that? How can we take the steps to do that? You know, you've probably heard many different radio shows online or you know, on XM or you know, your regular AM stations or FM stations. And you've probably heard them complain, but you've never heard them give solutions. I can give you a solution, and that is go to your city councils, go to your county board of supervisors when they have open meetings to the public, and you tell them enough's enough. We've had enough. Just tell them that. The citizens of this city, of this county, have had enough. You will do what we tell you to do, or we will vote you out of office. And if you don't do it within the next 6 months, we will get an attorney and we will file suit against the city and against the county. I guarantee you, possibly, they will retaliate with pushing you out of their council chambers, pushing you out of the meeting, and getting rough with you. That I can almost guarantee, or that I can guarantee, because they don't want to listen to you. So when they do that, you go file suit. I mean, why not? There you go. There's your solution. Well, I don't want to do that because it's going to take too much time, and I got to take time off from work, and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. I understand that. But what's more important? Your liberties and freedoms? Or just going to work and saying, well, I'm glad I'm working. I just want to go along to get along. Your liberties and freedoms are more important than the laws that are suppressing your liberties and freedoms. Remember that. Seriously. Because your life and your liberty and your livelihood depend upon freedom. That's what we need. This is the views expressed. I'm your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, right here on Spreaker.com. Do you want liberty-minded radio? There's no other straightforward radio you will ever hear than The Angel Clark Show. Join Angel Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at www.radiofreedom.us. That's The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at radiofreedom.us. Listen to The Sandy Fox Show, playing a variety of music including rock, pop, and country. The Sandy Fox Show is a production of the Force Radio Network. You can find her and all of the great FRN shows on Spreaker.com, Icedcast.org, and by searching for Force Internet Radio on TuneIn.com. You can also find great mobile apps on TuneIn.com to take the live shows and replays with you. The Force Radio Network. Real radio for real people. Want more entertainment value than your dollar can buy you at the movies? Listen to the Chris Top Program on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. This show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Sorry, I just took a drink of some cran grape juice. Yes. Anyway, You are listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com from FEMA Region 9, the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Yes. We have a lot in common. We have a lot in common. There are things that we understand. There are a lot of things that we know. And I might be preaching to the choir, but let me say this. We want our liberty and freedom, period. No one is going to tell us that we can't have it, nor is anyone going to take it away from us. So we have a lot in common. So if you want to follow along, you can over at Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You could check that site out. Please do. If you happen to be listening to this on the website, look on the right-hand side. You'll see a book called Many Directions of Man. That's my book. Check it out. Buy it. Please do. Would appreciate it. It's just my view of things going on and possible solutions. I get deep. Yeah, I get into some deep subjects in that book. Also on the left-hand side, you'll see a link to a store. You can promote your patriotism if you wish. Just go to the store, and I've got stuff there. I've got coffee mugs, I've got shirts, I've got hoodies, I've got sweatsuits, I've got, you name it. It's there. If you like liberty and freedom, go ahead and promote it. Also got a button there that says donate. So if you don't want to buy stuff and you just want to donate to the cause, to the radio show and to the website, please donate. I would appreciate that very, very much. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we can continue to get the word out about what's happening and about all the crap that's coming down and the tyranny that seems to be coming out of Washington, D.C. with this Marxist president. You know? So anyway, go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I will be talking about certain things there. California gas stations begin to shut down on record highs. That's from Bloomberg. I mentioned that yesterday. Gas prices now there are floating around $4.85 to $5.15 a gallon. Okay? In some places. Also, military police used for crowd control in South Carolina. Isn't that wonderful? Let's go check that one out. From Infowars.com. Kurt Nimmo over there has written that. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate that very, very much. Appreciate Infowars and all the work they do. Thank you, Alex Jones. I don't give a crap what anybody says about him. If you go by the record and you go by what he said 17 years ago up to today, you will see that everything has come true. Not just him either. Not just him. Okay, so go look. From Infowars.com, Kurt Nimmo writes, military police used for crowd control in South Carolina. As part of the expanding effort to merge police and military operations and make posse comitatus irrelevant, police in Columbia, South Carolina will use military police to control revelers after a football game this weekend. Columbia, quote-unquote, Columbia police are preparing for the big crowds expected for the Georgia-South Carolina football game Saturday night, unquote. WIS-TV reports, quote, officials say campus police, Richland County Sheriff's deputies, the South Carolina Highway Patrol, and Fort Jackson's military police will help with crowd control after the game, unquote. In addition to the military, officialdom in Columbia plan to establish Fourth Amendment busting. Let Let me read that again. I read this before. This is very important. In addition to the military, officialdom in Colombia plan to establish Fourth Amendment busting DUI checkpoints, barricades, and observation tower, quote, to keep the crowd under control, unquote, and, quote, ensure order, unquote. As Brendan Tuberville writes for Activist Post, the effort is, quote, nothing more than a conditioning exercise designed to assimilate the American people to the sight of U.S. military troops acting as police and to see it as an ordinary event, unquote. In June, Captain William Geddes of the U.S. Army Reserve in Missouri admitted that it is against federal law for soldiers to do police patrols, unquote. Quote, perhaps someone should remind Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army General Raymond T. Odierno that it is illegal for troops to conduct law enforcement domestically, unquote. Paul Joseph Watson wrote on June 27th, quote, in a recent Foreign Affairs piece, a publication of the Council on Foreign Relations, Odierno, I guess, I said it right the first time, suggested that the Army be, quote, transitioned, unquote, into a more, quote, flexible force, unquote, by deploying in situations normally reserved for domestic law enforcement officials, unquote. Increasingly, police are working with the military to conduct domestic law enforcement operations. Quote, indeed, the Army and other branches of the military have already been deployed domestically for precisely that purpose on innumerable occasions, unquote, Watson notes. He cites the following instances. Military police were tasked with conducting crowd control at the 2009 Kentucky Derby. Photographs showed MPs detaining a man who had run on the track. In March of the same year, U.S. Army troops were dispatched to patrol the streets of Sampson, Alabama after a murder spree. In December of 2008, the Marine Corps Air and Ground Combat Center dispatched troops to work with police on checkpoints in San Bernardino County, California. In April 2009, Infowars.com reported on the deployment of over 400 National Guard Combat Support Battalion troops to maintain public order at the Boston Marathon. In the same month, Infowars.com highlighted how uniformed soldiers were involved in handling a car wreck in El Paso, Texas, during which a local ABC News reporter and his cameraman were arrested simply for something they routinely do every day as part of their job, filming traffic incidences. These are just a handful of incidences we have documented over the last few years where the military has been illegally involved in domestic law enforcement. Back in 2008, the Washington Post reported how 20,000 U.S. troops returning from Iraq would be stationed inside America under NORTHCOM for purposes of quote-unquote domestic security from September 11th onward. Now, I want to point this out, and I'm going to be very, very specific. We live in a police state. Yeah, granted, I live in Nevada where it's open carry, and I am. You know, there's certain places you can't go, but hey, that's understandable. We live in a police state, and I don't care who thinks that... let me just clear up something for you folks. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I give you the facts right there. Go look them up for yourself, because I'm not here going to give you the answers. The process of learning means that it takes time from the question to the answer, and you got to look at everything. Then you'll have your answer. By me just giving you the answer, that doesn't help you learn a damn thing. You need to go look it up yourself. I'm giving you the links, the articles, everything. And I'm sure that you'll find something else to corroborate with these other articles and such. I said it before and I'll say it again, and if you listen to my podcast from earlier today, it's only about 10 minutes long. I'm going to say this, and I know this may sound harsh, and frankly, it's probably going to hurt some people's feelings. So please, I want you to email me, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. I am done dealing with stupid people. I am done dealing with stupid people. If you hear my podcast earlier, you'll see why. You'll hear why. I'm done. I am completely and utterly done. Ignorant people have no place in my presence. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds conceited. And I know, people are going, wow, you sound like... Oh. No. Let me clarify. And let me put you in a scenario. You're talking to your best friend. Your best friend has a totally different outlook on certain things. Your best friend has their own perspective and you have yours. But you guys can still get together and have fun. So you tell your friend about something that you found out, and it's very important. And you go and you give them the facts. Here it is. Here's the information. And this is what it is. Well, your friend's going to look at you and say, no, that's not what it is. Really? It's not? Okay, friend. Get the information and prove me wrong. I know that at some point in your life you've done that. I know I have. But I've turned it around in the last 10 to 15 years. Instead of telling people, from my point of view, to prove me wrong, I tell people, prove yourself right. Excuse me. Now, how can anybody sit there and tell me that they're not going to prove themselves right? I've had all the excuses on the face of this planet. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yes, you do. You have to prove it to yourself. Because if you have information, do you not think that gathering that information for yourself would then prove your preconceived idea? And do you not think that your assessment of the situation would be proven correct to you when you find the information and go through the process to get to that point of understanding that situation? And I said all that to say this. Don't you think it's easier to prove it to yourself than it is to anybody else that you're right? I know when when I get on the show or when I'm talking to somebody, I got to say, hey, look, here it is. Here's the link. Here's this information, yada, yada, yada. I got to prove it to myself that that's what it says. That's what it means. There's links all over the place on these articles. You can go there and start searching it out yourself. I do. Because I have to prove to me that it's correct before I even give it to you. If I find later on that it's not correct or that something is not right or something's a little off, or hey, I'm more than willing to come on air and correct myself and tell you I was wrong. Are you? I don't think so. I don't think there is one reasonable thought in your head that would ever put you in a position to where you can even admit that you were wrong. But then again, to say that you were wrong, you would have to take the information you have and prove to yourself that you were right to begin with. In other words, oh, I'm wrong. Let me go look this information up, make sure it's right. Do you not do that? Well, then there you go. So don't prove it to me. I've got the answers. I'm still looking through stuff. I present it here for your education and your enlightenment, and hopefully encourage you to go do the work yourself to figure this out. Somebody once said, well, geez, you hate to be wrong, don't you? I said, no. I had somebody else tell me, you don't like anybody telling you that you're wrong, do you? And I said, no, I hope people can show their side of it and tell me, hey, you're wrong, this is why. Okay, let me see your information. I may have overlooked something. I don't sit there and go, oh, I was wrong. No, I overlooked it. I missed something. Well, let me go take a look at it. What is true for you is true for you because you have observed it. Okay? Getting right down to the whole, the whole thing. I cannot tell you that you're wrong without me being right. I cannot say anything without proving to myself it's correct. If you say that 2 plus 2 is 5 and I want to correct you, I'm going to have to prove to myself that 2 plus 2 is 4 before I even give that answer to you. Or help you figure it out. So I don't know. You can tell me I'm wrong all day long. I know I'm not. But if you do tell me I'm wrong all day long, how about proving to yourself you're right? How about taking the information you have, proving it to yourself before you even present it to me? Because I may look at it and go, oh, wow, I missed something. Okay, let me see that right there. It's not necessarily meaning that I'm wrong. It's just I may have overlooked something. Cool. Thank you for the information. I appreciate that. If I'm wrong, I will admit to it. Why? Because I don't know everything. It's as simple as that. And I digress. I digress. A reminder, next week, October 12th, I will have Mr. Peter Kling on to discuss some issues. I don't know where we're going. I know I got a couple of questions to ask him about, this whole debate and going on, this whole political, environment and stuff. So I'm going to ask him about that. But after that, we're probably going to go in whatever direction we want to go. We may talk about aliens. We may talk about the multiverse. We may talk about, energies. We may talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Who knows? You want to join us? Please do. Next Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Views Expressed. And basically this show, the Views Expressed, a little tidbit of information for you to remember. The Views Expressed came about because I had views about what was going on in the government. The corrupt, destroying itself from the inside out government. I found out 30 some odd years ago that this government was corrupt. I had people tell me, if I've talked to professors and sociologists, and you name it. I went around in Stockton, California, where I grew up, and talked to people. I put 2 and 2 together. Yes, it does add up to 4. I learned if I couldn't find something, I would keep digging until I found something. And to this day, 11 years later, yes, 9/11 was an inside job. Yes, Building 7 fell in its own footprint. No, there was no hole in it. These people that are, the building fell over and it hit and it pulled a hole in it. No. If a bomb can blow up in front of the Murrah building and blow the front of it off and the building doesn't collapse, and they have to bring in cranes to knock it over, I'm sure that if there was a little hole in the building of a 47-story building, it's not going to bring the building down. Okay, those people are totally stupid. Okay? When the owner of that building, I believe it was the owner of that building, I know the owner of the World Trade Center, I think it was that building as well, was heard to say, pull it, which means demolish it. CBS News has police in front of Building 7 telling reporters and people, get away, they're going to blow it up. Get away, they're going to pull it. Get away, they're, Hello? Can anybody put two and two together? Okay. 9/11 was an inside job because I also know that 1,500 architects and engineers are not wrong. So you debunkers out there who want to debunk all this, I'm going to say this. You're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. I should have added you on that podcast that I did earlier. Go check it out, everybody. You debunkers are the stupidest people on the face of the planet. You have absolutely positively no idea what you're talking about, never have and never will. Now, I say that because I have information otherwise. If you think that you can sit there and tell me I'm wrong, prove yourself right. If you can't, bye-bye. Have a nice day. This is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com. You were listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, and even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That DK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. You want funny? You want entertaining? You want a belly full of laughs? And some seriousness, too. Come check out the J-Man Show right here on Spreaker.com. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the king of all dorks. Go listen to the Chris Top program right here on Spreaker.com. Cameras on every corner, TSA checkpoints on major highways, militarized law enforcement in every major city. This is not the United States of America we grew up in. Come get the facts about what exactly is going on. The views expressed, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on Spreaker Web Radio. For more information, go to www.spreaker.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer.
Angel Clark.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
This Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know why.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
You saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever.
SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
This is the views expressed right here for the 5th of October 2012. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, broadcasting live from Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com, broadcasting live from FEMA Region 9, biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Yes, Reno, Nevada, yeah, where Representative Dean Heller and Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid want to indefinitely detain you. Yes, go look. NDAA signatories. Look who signed on to the National Defense Authorization Act. Yes. By the way, it's public record. You can go look at that. Yes, go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. There is a video, small trailer, really, of a new movie that is trying to raise funds to get seen in theaters. The movie is called Gray State. Go look that up. On Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, you will see a bunch of pictures. I put a lot of pictures up there because pictures say 1,000, times more than what I could. So there's a picture that says false flag alert. San Onofre, if I can say that correctly. San Onofre. San Onofre, whatever. Restarting of troubled nuclear plant planned. The troubled San Onofre, I don't know how to pronounce that, power plant is reopening in California. Whoever wrote this is like reopening. He forgot the EN in opening. The power plant is reopening in California. It had been leaking radiation, but they claim to have fixed it well enough to reopen. It is built on a major fault line, and when investigated a few months ago, they found that the sensors were set to shut off the backup generators in case of vibrations. Those generators are necessary to keep the plant safe in case of power outages. So it was set for a disaster for some reason. In addition, an unknown sub fired a missile off the coast of California a year and a half ago. There were rumors of an unmarked sub in the waters, indicating it could have been practicing for a false flag scenario. It is also on the 33rd parallel. Those are the numbers that the Illuminati love. With the Russian sub off our coast story... With the Russian sub off our coast story planted in the press a couple of months ago, the Illuminati could easily take out the plant, blame Russia or China, and start World War III to get revenge. Okay. Do you think they would do that? I do. I do. There's another picture up there. It says Americans no longer live in a free country. Americans are no longer innocent until proven guilty. Americans are now eligible for assassination. With the passage of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2011, Americans can now be held in a prison indefinitely without the government ever having to produce any evidence or even allow you access to an attorney, and all under the mere suspicion of an association. Did you ever think you would live to see the day when the U.S. government declared war on Americans? Well, guess what? You do. So resist. From secretsofthefed.com, why you should be outraged about the ruling to keep the NDAA indefinite detention clause in effect. I read this yesterday. And it basically says that Judge Catherine Forrest, who said put a temporary block on subsection 1021 and 1022, that block, another judge just Tuesday said no and took it off. Actually, yesterday. Took off the temporary injunction. It's going to come down to this, folks. Since I only got a few more minutes left, go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check out the articles from today and yesterday. It's going to come down to this. You and I are going to have to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America from enemies foreign and domestic. Whether you're current or former military, you are now, former military and returning veterans are now declared terrorists. Look at the MIAC report. MIAC. Look at the MIAC report. I think 2006, 2007. Go look at some of the Army manuals. Go look at the FEMA manuals. Patriots, those who question the government, those returning veterans, those who are for the people, you are now terrorists. I'm a terrorist for telling you this, for standing up for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. But guess what? Some police, some highway patrol, some counties are telling their newbies, their new recruits, and some of the old ones, that George Washington and all of our founding fathers were terrorists. I mean, seriously. Seriously. I don't get it. I really don't. I honestly do not get it. I've spent a long time. A long time studying all of this, looking into all of this. I was in high school when I thought, wait a minute, something's not quite right here. And that was under the Carter administration. Remember, some of you are not old enough to remember when he sent in the military to Grenada to get hostages out and all that. What a disaster that was. We have a corrupt government, number one. Number two, we have people controlling our government that don't care about you. Yes, there's people controlling the government. You've heard of the shadow government? That's who's controlling the government. They're called the Bilderberg Group. They're called the Rothschilds. They're called the Rockefellers. The policies are coming out of Rand Corporation, out of many different colleges across the United States. They're moving you into serfdom. They're moving you into serfdom. Go look it up. Go look it up. Okay? I have taken and literally gone to libraries, talked to people, examined everything around me in Stockton, California, where I grew up, and I saw from the inside out how corruption takes over a city when you put the wrong people into office. I saw this. I also saw what it's like when a group of people get together and say enough's enough. They happen to have been our founding fathers many years ago. And now we're seeing it across the world. We're seeing this across the world. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people coming out in Spain and Lisbon and Portugal and Germany and now France. People are getting on the street and saying, we hate our government and we want it gone. We want those people who are corrupt and who are the criminals out of office. Because they know that even there in their own countries, including Australia, there is a shadow government governing everything around them. They have this semblance of peace and freedom, and they are given the opportunity to cast a vote, which doesn't really matter, and their governments are falling apart. Well, I want to say this. I've spent way too much time arguing with stupid people. In other words, I've had people come to me and say, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. I mentioned that before. And they've never come back to me. Why? Because they don't like being called on the carpet. They don't like having to, have to backtrack what they say because I prove to them that they're wrong. So what do we do? What do we do? Well, it's real simple. We stand up in our cities and states and we say enough's enough. We can beat these people, folks. Yeah, I know. Oh, there's a risk. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get hurt. Oh. Okay, you wimpy little crybabies can stay at home and watch your stupid sports programs. Because you're not really, a man, and you're not really a woman. You just want to get all kinds of free crap like Obama phones. So stay home, let the system take care of you, because you're nothing but communists. You're nothing but socialists. You're nothing but fascists, and you don't really care about America. All you care about is what you can get. But the men and women who stand up and say enough's enough, let's go. Let's go. We're responsible for our families, for our friends, for our counties. Because if it wasn't for us, I don't think they would exist. It's not the other way around. Yes, Mr. President, we did build it. And we're not going to allow you to tear it down. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, tough! Be back in 30 seconds. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the views expressed right here on the 5th of October 2012. So I said before, and I'll say it again, if you don't like my show, you don't have to listen. If you want to be a part of this show, you can be. You can email me. Excuse me, I almost burped there on air. You can email me at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. That's the same email address if you want to be a guest. It's cool. I'd like to get more perspectives on things, and yours is just as important. If you don't want to be on air, you can jump in the Spreaker chat and tell me what's on your mind, and we'll discuss it. Also, it's important for all of us to remember that we are one in the United States of America. We are one. Why do I say that? Because I'm sure that you can work things out with your neighbor. Okay? I'm sure you can. Okay? I'm sure you can. But here's something to leave you with. I have not known anyone who was backed into a corner far enough not to do what they must do to survive. I have not known anyone who would just cower in the corner and just let people beat them like, there was no tomorrow. And for those people that are sitting out there going, I just want the government to take care of me. I want my Obama phone. I want give me stuff. I want my mortgage paid. I want my gas bill paid. Okay? I got something very important to tell you. Actually, I'm pretty sure that when you people open your mouth, you sound probably a whole lot like Now, I gotta tell you, I gotta say this because it's very, very important. If you cannot wrap your mind around what is happening around you, and all you want to do is go sit in your easy chair and watch your stupid reality shows and dumb sports programs, you know what? You're the freaking problem. And guess what? The federal government, with contracts out to Kellogg, Brown, and Root, and with the militarized law enforcement and the military and the abolishment of posse comitatus, will come pick your butt up, probably in the middle of the night, haul you away to a FEMA re-education camp somewhere, and, hey, you'll be doing crap you didn't think you would ever want to do. Okay? I got 2 words for you. Bye-bye. Because as far as me and my family goes, we stand on what is right. We stand on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I will defend it from enemies foreign and domestic. I will do everything I can to get the word out that this criminal organization we call Washington, D.C. is trying to take your rights away, is taking your rights away, and sending your sons and daughters over to other countries where they don't need to be, and when they come back, they're so messed up with PTSD and no arms and no legs that you're going to wonder why you even allowed that to happen. And let me tell you something to you current military people right now. Get your butt here, because we the people will defend you when you do the right thing. And what you're doing is you're following this new world order right into the pits of hell. We're not going to defend you when you do that. But you come here, you come to this back home to your families and start defending it for what it is under the flag and freedom and liberty and everything else that made this country great. We'll stand right there next to you. We'll do everything we can to help you defend your family and friends. But in the meantime, we are the ones that are doing it here. Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Southern Texas. Get your butt up and protect that border. Because those illegal aliens, I just saw a sign on a McDonald's here in a Walmart that said, basically the gist of the sign said, we don't care if you're illegal, just come in, fill out an app, and we'll hire you. We don't care. So what? The guy that was driving truck for 15 years has been laid off because his company went under, is now having to look for a job and decides to go to McDonald's because he just has to have a job. Whatever it is, do whatever you need to do to work, right? But he doesn't get hired. But an illegal alien coming over the border can go to McDonald's and get a job like that? There is something definitely wrong in this country. And where it's wrong and where it's corrupted is Washington, D.C. I don't condone violence. I don't condone violence. I support defense. So if anybody is coming into your neighborhood, and I don't give a crap who the hell they are, trying to get your stuff, you got an obligation. And if your city government says, well, we need to do this, and we need to ban 32-ounce sodas because of health reasons, and blah, 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 blah. Excuse me, parents, hello. Citizens, hello. Isn't it not time to stand up and say enough's enough? And I know my friends may listen to this, but I know they may not. So my message is to those that know I do a radio show that don't come here because they don't want to listen to it. I'm thinking of two of them right now. My message is this. Enjoy your TV. Enjoy what's on it. Enjoy everything you can ever get your little hands on. Enjoy your programs. Because I'm not going to defend you. You know why? Because you think that nothing's wrong. And I'm telling you and showing you and giving you links to prove to you that something is wrong. And you're going to sit there and tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist? You're going to sit there and tell me that I'm wrong? You're going to sit there and tell me that politics is not your cup of tea? And tell me that religion shouldn't even be a part of the United States, blah, blah, blah. I'm not just those two people. I know a lot of people in my life like that. So my message goes out to all of you who think that. Pack your crap and get to another country. You don't deserve to be Americans. I stand for the Constitution and the United States of America, and I will defend it from enemies foreign and domestic. And if you can't handle that, get the hell out now! You don't want to be Americans. Leave. Yeah, it pisses me off. It does. I'm going to go do a little overdrive for you. I'm going to do a little overdrive. I'm just going to go right into it. Not going to do a break or anything. Just going to go right into it. Over on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Let me read you what I read at the beginning of the show. This is why I'm going into overdrive. From deliberatereceiving.com. There's a picture with a person sitting in the street. They're in a hoodie, and there's cops all around this person, just a long line of cops. It's on the streets. I don't know where it is. And the picture reads, "We've been trained by the media, TV shows, and movies to believe that people will regress into a violent, irrational, primal state if given half the chance. But in times of true crisis, history has shown that the great majority of people will support each other, even to their own detriment. We have allowed them to convince us to be afraid of each other, so that we'll let the powers that be take away our freedom in order to protect us from ourselves. But they forgot about the tenacity of the human spirit. People are waking up, throwing off their shackles and saying, peacefully yet firmly, and without backing down, no more." I want to say this to my friends. I care about you. I love you. I enjoy talking to you. But if you side with the criminals in Washington, D.C., that's the line that has been crossed. Many years ago, over 15 years ago, I talked to somebody about this stuff, and I can tell you right now, they didn't want to have anything to do with me after I spoke to them about this, about stuff going on at that time. Why? Because they said, I don't want to hear it. I remember them saying, I want my day to be good. I want to have a good day. I don't want to be all depressed because of this stuff. I know it's out there, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know I might piss off a lot of people by saying that if you cross that line and side with the New World Order, you're my enemy. I know I've pissed a lot of people off. Because years ago, somebody pissed me off. Years ago, somebody got me so just angry that I wanted to squeeze their head like a pimple. I got that angry. This was almost 25 years ago. And I stopped myself. And I remembered everything that I learned up to that point. And you know what? I turned the page. And I went to the next chapter. And I began to research and began to do everything I needed to do to understand what it was that was out there, what was around me at that time. And guess what? I changed my mind on the whole thing. I thought the government was good for us. I thought that things were going to be fine. I thought the government's going to take care of everything. And then I realized just how wrong I was. And all I'm trying to do is get you the word. All I'm doing is trying to get the word out to you to show you that something is up. Something is dramatically wrong with the system that we live in. And we need to change it. But we need to change it peacefully and firmly. I will defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and domestic. And you military and current military and former military personnel who are back here at home better remember the oath you took. Because it's not about somebody with a towel wrapped around his head in a cave in Afghanistan, or the army protecting the opium over in Afghanistan to send it over here through diplomatic, if not governmental channels in Washington, D.C. to ship it down to Mexico along with guns. It's not about that. It's about you, current and former military here in the United States, defending the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America against enemies foreign and domestic. I will stand beside you, and I will help you do that. And we all have to do that. We all have to do that. Thank goodness the word is out that the military understands what's happening. And they are going to, if their COs tell them, you got to take guns from American people, guess what they're going to do? They're going to refuse the order. I've heard reports about this. They're going to refuse. You former military that are so bent on all these things, and just having the idea that your government is not what you defended, that the things that you did over in Afghanistan and Iraq and in many number of places you've been is not what, it wasn't for the freedom of the United States, it was for the occupation of the New World Order of other countries. I am so wound up today. I want to do two things right now before I get out of here. First of all, I want to say this. I know that I come off very aggressive and sound very, yes. And it's not so much that, because I'm very passionate about liberty and freedom. It's about the way that I convey the message. And if my tone seemed to have been displeasing to you, or you were somewhat offended, my apologies to you. But the message is clear. The other thing I want to say is this, is that you can get a hold of me directly to this show. My direct email address to this show is freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you have information you want to share about, with the show, about links or pictures or videos that you got around town or whatever, send that to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Next week, we'll have Mr. Peter Kling on. Mr. Peter Kling, go to peterkling.com. That's Kling, peterkling.com. He's also a frequent guest on Late Night in the Midlands with Michael Vera. He'll be here October 12th for the views expressed. I don't know how long we'll have him. It's only a 2-hour show. I just went over a little bit because I had something to get off my chest. Thank you for listening. Also, on October 19th, we have the one and only Angel Clark from The Angel Clark Show. You can listen to her show Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern at radiofreedom.us. On October 26th, for the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, I will mention this later in the week as well, or later next week, closer when we get closer to it. I will have author Marie D. Jones on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Actually, Diana will, because it's her show as well as mine. So, that is what's coming down the line. If you have Or if you want to be a guest, email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, if you want to be a guest on The Views Expressed. If you want to be a guest on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, email grabbagshow@usa.com, grabbagshow@usa.com. This has been The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, on Spreaker.com. There's always things going on. Check out Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, and I've got articles up there explaining a whole lot, and pictures. Remember one thing, we the people have the power, for we are America.